So,
Player 2 has joined the game.
we want to talk some Last of Us Part 1 spoilers, or The Last of Us spoilers, period. James writes in and says, this question contains spoilers for The Last of Us. With Joel's decision at the end, Neil Druckmann has said that they 100% would have been able to make a vaccine. Does this make Joel worse? However, what about the fact that 70% of people might just decide that they don't want the vaccine? It doesn't make Joel worse because...
All right, but are we saying this is... He's just telling us, the audience, that it 100% would have worked?
Yes.
Or is the question assuming Joel knew that there was a 100% success rate?
What they're saying is...
Or us knowing it, do we feel differently about Joel's decision, who did not know?
Correct.
I mean, if he doesn't know, but we know, you can't hold it against him. And to me, that doesn't really... That's unfair to judge him in a certain way just because we have that information. So I almost look at it, even if we didn't have that information, I don't know that it's the right choice. There's a lot of unknowns, because you could also say, yes, it 100% would have worked, but we also don't 100% know that she's the only one.
Correct.
But anytime anybody is the one, they're also going to have somebody like Joel who doesn't want to, make that decision. But also, was it Joel's decision to make? Ellie could have made this. It's not like Ellie's a child. Well, I mean, I guess she is a child. I guess that's part
14.
of it. Yeah, I don't know.
But Ellie was not going to be able to make that choice because she was passed out.
Well, that's what I was saying. She should have been able to.
Open.
Yeah.
Like, do you think Marlene's going to be like, hey, wake up. Hey, we're going to kill you and extract your brain, and maybe we'll get a cure, even though apparently it's 100%. I think that's complete bullshit. Joel, I can go all the way back to IGN with Colin and Greg talking to Neil Druckmann, and they were like, we both think that Joel's kind of the bad guy in this story, and he's like, I didn't ever intend for that to be the thing. No part of me thinks Joel is
I don't think he's a bad guy. No.
Everyone in this world
he's human.
Is bad. Yeah. All you're trying to do is survive. 20 years ago, his daughter was murdered in his arms by the government.
Yeah.
Period. Now it's 20 years later. He's moved on. He comes across this girl who he wants nothing to do with at all. But eventually, after she's like, you son of a, like what I was texting you, like he comes to obviously see her as a surrogate daughter, which just makes part 2 just piss me off even more. Sorry, Chris. I would have, if you were Joel, what would you do?
If it was my daughter...
No, I know.
But if it was my daughter, I would 100% do the same thing he did. If it was just another kid... I mean, if I put myself in Joel's shoes, I lost my daughter, there's this other girl comes around, now she kind of just... think of her as your daughter, because it's just a lot.
I think Joel was 100% in the right.
I think I don't blame him for what he did.
Right.
Because he did not know that it would work. He didn't know, he doesn't have this information.
Right.
Is he really expected to say, there's this girl, she might be the only one like her, and if we do this, it'll definitely kill her, and it might save humanity.
At that point, what's left of humanity also?
What I would do is, let's hold on. Maybe let her wake up. We've been through 20 years of this. we don't need to rush into this. Let's talk about it a little bit. Like maybe he didn't need to just kill them. In my case, burn them with a flamethrower. Maybe he could have just let's let her wake up and talk this out. Maybe there's another way. But no, I don't blame him. Right or wrong, I think that's tough to say. Do I blame him? No. Would I have done the same thing? 100% yes if it was my daughter. If I was just in his shoes and it was not my daughter, but kind of my daughter, I probably still would do the same thing.
I would do the same thing. I don't fault him at all. I think Druckmann saying there's a 100% chance of the vaccine working is BS.
Then there's part two, like James said. As we all very well know now, you're not going to get everybody to take it anyway. But, I mean, at that point, it's like, screw him. Now, again, there's a lot of unknowns. 100% chance of success of making a vaccine. Is that vaccine 100% going to prevent infection? Or is it kind of like COVID where it's like, yeah, it might.
You still get
it'll
it.
just
I mean,
prevent you from dying.
Just have like a fungus over here on your head.
Right.
You're like, hey, I'm still here, guys.
If you take into account, a certain percentage of the population is not going to take it, as long as they're not endangering other people, which I guess they are, because if they turn, even if you don't turn me into a zombie, you're still going to kill me if you bite my neck. Yes. So.
But yeah, you've still got at least America. Like, and the other thing I wonder about, and this is the one thing that I think could be really cool with part 3, which is obviously going to happen. I'm sure it's going to be Ellie missing a finger and whatever. What the hell else is happening outside of America? What's going on in Europe, Africa, Australia? Like, what? Like, do people even know? Like,
that's when they make The Last of Them. Maybe there's lots of Ellies.
But, like, do they have outbreaks in Europe?
I assume it's everywhere.
But I don't even know.
It's going to travel. I mean, look at COVID. All it takes is one person who's been bit.
Well, but then they got to fly for 17 hours. And they're like, I don't feel good. And then, like, no, a sheriff's marshal. A marshal goes up and goes, bam! Okay, you're dead. Okay. And then they blow out the side of the airplane. Everybody gets sucked out. But I don't know.
I think it would find a way.
I don't know that it's definitely overseas. Chris says in the chat, on a grand scale, yes, he is bad. But at the end of the day, he saw Ellie as his own, so he made the best choice for him. He made the best choice for her, too. The world was already effed, so is another way to look at it. That's why I love the game so much. There's so many great stories they could tell. It's a fantastic world they have created. It could be like 24 days later, says John Tingley. I don't know. Like...
Well, that's the other thing is going back to the whole, I know she's a child, she's 14, but like, let's ask Ellie. In the, like, what's her name? Marlene was saying this is what she would want. Probably. Knowing Ellie, I mean, yeah, she probably would be like, yeah, she seems very unselfish.
Kill me and take my brain out. Okay.
No, I think she would have.
But again, there's no, that's why I hate that.
But like, and then what? What does Joel do? If Ellie says, yes, I'm totally okay with this, then is Joel still like, no, screw you, you're a kid, you don't know what you're talking about, I'm going to kill these doctors anyway, and I'm taking you, like, I don't know. I feel like you could offer, like, college courses on this video game and this exact topic. Because there's a number of ways to look at it. I think it's very complicated.
What I think Joel should have done is grab a golf club and then go into the operating room. That's what I think he should have done.
Why should he do that?
Also, he should shoot the doctor in the knee first and then just bludgeon him to death.
Yeah.
I think Joel did the right thing. I would do the exact same thing if I were.
But there's a whole right and wrong thing. I don't know that he did the right thing, but he did exactly what I would have done.
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
right or wrong is tough to say.
In that world, it's just what is right.
But yeah, I also don't know. I mean, Neil can say whatever he wants. He's the one that made it. Like, I get it. So he can say, well, this was the intent, that hypothetically it would have worked. Right. But I don't know. But that's not true because that didn't happen. So he can say whatever he wants, right. But it's like, it doesn't really, I don't know.
I mean, he could have said with 100% certainty that, you know what, the next day, all the clickers just went, right. And they're dead. Like, right. What are we talking about? No, they're everywhere.
Yeah.
All right, well, that was a fun spoiler talk. Thank y'all for watching. Make sure you check out the full episode of the podcast, which we're going to cut to right now.